We are going to wait a couple more seconds, a couple more minutes, excuse me, to go ahead and get started to allow more people to join. In the meantime, we do appreciate your patience as we wait for additional folks to join us. Thank you. Great, we can go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone who's joining us tonight. My name is Oswaldo Martinez. I represent Central Coast Community Energy, specifically serving our customers down in San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties. I'm joined by my colleague, Patty Cruz, who will be helping me manage tonight's webinar. We welcome everyone who is an enrolling customer to tonight's webinar to inform you about your energy options that you have as a customer, and also welcome you to some of the resources that we'd love to share with you during this presentation. We have a pretty straightforward agenda for tonight's presentation. First of all, if you are just hearing about us, the first thing that we want to talk about is who we are as an agency. I'm sure a lot of folks have questions about Central Coast Community Energy, so I'd love to just walk all of our folks listening to us in this webinar, walk you through who we are, what we do, what is our purpose, and how we work with PG&E or Southern California Edison. And after that, I'd love to focus on the enrollment itself. You may have questions about the options that you have as an enrolling customer. And just as a spoiler alert, you do have the option to opt out if you don't want to participate in this agency, but we hope that during this presentation, you'll see the various benefits to remaining enrolled as a customer. And of course, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have at the end of the presentation. So just as a quick clarification, this webinar is specifically intended for our residential customers that are enrolling with us, that have already enrolled with us as of January, and you are considering whether you'd like to remain enrolled or perhaps opt out and participate as a bundled service customer with PG&E or Edison. Right now, that may sound a bit confusing, so I'd love to clarify and explore what that means during this presentation as well. So if you live in one of the enrolling communities of Buellton, Goleta, Carpinteria, or one of the unincorporated Southern Santa Barbara County communities, then this presentation is for you. And my goal really during this presentation will be to answer these frequently asked questions that you see here on the screen. These are questions that we always get with enrolling communities who are learning about us for the first time, and it's very natural to have the questions that you see here on the screen. Of course, people want to know, is my bill going to increase? Will I receive 2 bills? Will my service with PG&E or Edison be discontinued as a result of this enrollment? Will I lose any of my discounts, rebates, or programs? And of course, how much time do I have to make a decision on whether I'd like to remain enrolled or opt out and just return to the full bundled service from PG&E or Edison? I'm going to go ahead and answer all of these questions shortly right now, but just know that I'll go ahead and explore each of these topics in greater detail during the presentation. So very quickly, I think a reassuring response to all of these questions here is no, we're not actually going to increase your bill as a result of this service that you're going to receive from us. You're not going to receive 2 bills. You'll learn that that we actually partner with PG&E or Edison to provide you a shared service. And they will continue to send you one bill that features our charges on the first page of the bill. That also means that you don't lose any of the benefits, any of the rebates or discounts or incentives that you get from PG&E or Edison. In fact, you also get to participate in some of our own incentive and rebate programs as well. So now you have a greater list of options moving forward. And you don't necessarily have to make a decision to opt out or remain enrolled today. You do have time, basically 60 days from the date that you transitioned into a shared service with us. Determines that window where you can opt out at no additional cost to you. Of course, the option is always available to you to opt out after that 60-day period, but you would be subject to a $5 fee if you are a residential customer. I'll go ahead and repeat that information during the presentation in case you would like more clarification on that. So we're going to start this presentation by talking about who we are and really giving you foundational knowledge of the type of agency that we are as well. So many people aren't familiar with this, but we are actually a government agency, officially recognized as a community choice aggregator, or a CCA in short. So during this presentation, you may hear me throwing around the acronym CCA, just because it's a lot easier to say than the whole 3-word term that you see here on the screen. But basically, all CCAs are government entities, and we are comprised of city and county governments that banded together. They formed a CCA with the purpose of purchasing electricity on behalf of their customers, whether those are residential or commercial customers. And so this effectively allows our cities and counties through their CCAs to decide where their energy is coming from, where that energy is being sourced. And it allows CCAs to effectively decide and choose more renewable and clean energy on behalf of their communities. And so for many cities and counties that create a CCA or join a CCA after it's been created, that tends to be one of their main goals, one of their main purposes in joining a CCA. First of all, they want to support renewable energy, and they can do that very easily by joining a CCA. And secondly, they can also help reinvest revenues from electricity customers, revenue that would have otherwise have left the region, would have otherwise have left to investor-owned utilities such as PG&E or Edison. And that revenue can stay local. We can reinvest that through our incentives, through rebate programs for all of our customers, regardless of their income status. So if you're wondering who exactly comprises or makes up our very own CCA, Central Coast Community Energy, well, we represent most of the Central Coast, excluding Ventura County. As you can see here, that includes a lot of communities from Santa Cruz County down to Santa Barbara County, with a couple of exceptions. So in total, we have 33 communities, 29 of which are cities and 4 of which are county governments, with the exceptions being King City, the county of San Luis Obispo, so all of the unincorporated communities like Los Osos, San Miguel, Nipomo. And then down in Santa Barbara County, that doesn't include Lompoc or the city of Santa Barbara itself. But for all of our folks that are attending tonight's webinar, we expect that you are in one of the enrolling communities, whether that's Buellton, Goleta, Carpinteria, or one of the unincorporated Santa Barbara communities as well. As I said, we are comprised of our county and city governments. So that allows our city council members, our city mayors, our city or county administrators to also take part in our boards. They each hold a seat or they rotate a seat depending on the size of the community and help make the decisions of this agency, whether it's in determining the budget, determining our very own rates. No state or federal agency regulates us in our rates. We have the ability to set our own rates. And you'll learn during the presentation that we aim to always stay competitive with the investor-owned utilities like PG&E or Edison. But this is a partnership with them, so we're not here to completely replace them, actually. As you see here in the image, we determine the first step of your electricity service. We are here to determine the source of where your energy is coming from, whether that is coming from a giant solar farm facility or a wind facility, perhaps even geothermal energy or even small hydroelectric energy. We're here to determine where your power is coming from. And our main focus is that we want the energy to come from cleaner and more renewable energy resources without compromising our customers' pockets. Here in this relationship, you see that PG&E or Edison still deliver that electricity to your home. So none of that changes, none of that disrupts your service. They still manage the billing for the customer. You'll still be getting a bill from either PG&E or Edison. And importantly, if there's an outage or something of that nature, you would still need to call a representative from their organization to respond to the matter. So as a shared customer, you effectively say no interruptions to your service once you've enrolled in this shared service model. You actually get to benefit from our competitive rates, which I will talk about in a moment. And you have access to more energy programs, which are effectively incentives and rebates that you can apply into for funds to support your clean energy goals. Again, I'll go ahead and elaborate what that means as well during the presentation. But I just want to go ahead and cut to the chase, right? So if you see us appear on your bill after an enrollment, so for most of you, you might already be seeing us appear in February, in your February, or for some of you, actually most of you will be seeing us appear on the February bill. And so you'll see just a couple of optic changes, but not much is going to change. You're not going to be paying anything extra. So I just want to make sure that's understood from the start. You're not paying anything additional for this shared service. What's actually happening in terms of the math is that we are breaking down the bundled electric charges that once came from PG&E or Edison into two separate buckets. One of those buckets will be for the delivery of your energy. So PG&E or Edison will still continue to handle that. The other bucket will be for the generation of your electricity. In other words, how is that energy being made? How is it being sourced? That's a service that you had always received from PG&E or Edison. We're simply just replacing their role in determining where and how your energy is being made. So you'll see on the first page of the bill that we are actually charging you for the generation charges moving forward. And so together, those charges are roughly similar to what you previously had paid for your entire electric charges prior to your enrollment. You'll notice that we do apply a discount off of the generation component such that you are paying lower every month simply by being a shared customer. And we do that simply by doing good business, staying competitive, and ensuring that there is always affordable rates for all of our customers, ensuring that there is headroom between our generation rates and the generation rates from PG&E or Edison. And so if you're curious to learn more about how this had previously looked on the bill, if you looked at an old bill that prior to your transition into Central Coast Community Energy, you'll see that PG&E or Edison had an entire page dedicated to breaking down all of the electric charges. And so this provided more of a detailed breakdown on where all of those charges were coming from. And so you can see that one of the items on that list was for generating your electricity. This had been a service that they had always provided to you in the past. Now, moving forward, as you become a shared customer, you see that we are actually providing our own page that details all of your electric generation charges. For some of you, it may be a very simple page. If you are a residential customer with a simple rate, and then for some of you, I suspect not many of the folks who are on this call, if you are like a commercial customer or a customer on the net energy metering program, that means if you have solar on your rooftop, you may see that breakdown appear a little differently, but the idea is still the same. We are here to determine where and how your energy is coming from, and we're simply replacing an old charge that came from PG&E, and we're doing it at a competitive rate. If you are in the Edison service area, I just wanted to provide a quick example of what that would look like on your Edison bill. And the concept is exactly the same. We're here to replace the generation charges from Edison but it's not an additional charge. So talking about the rates, I'm not going to go ahead and provide a rate sheet with the exact numbers, but I think the percentages would suffice for tonight's presentation. So historically, since we began service in 2018, we've been committed to providing competitive rates with the electric companies, whether that's PG&E or Edison. And this is specifically focused on the generation component of the bill. And we've been able to do that year by year. As our boards determine our rates, we look at how we can remain competitive with PG&E or Edison on the generation component. And today we provide roughly a 2% discount off of the generation rates, such that the average customer may be saving 50 to 75 cents a month simply by participating in the shared service. Now, of course, PG&E and Edison are two completely different organizations. They have different rates as well, so it's hard to compare the two equally. But what I can say is that PG&E is expected to increase their rates pretty significantly this year, such that it's going to create a lot more headroom between our rates and theirs, and that's a positive thing. That means that the discount will increase from 2% to a much higher number, especially for our residential customers as well. If you live in the Edison service area, we still expect to apply a 2% discount for the remainder of 2022, and we will look to remain competitive with them moving forward as well. So if you participate in a discount program such as CARE, FARA, HEAP, or Medical Baseline through either PG&E or Edison, you do not need to worry about losing your benefits. You still get the same amount allocated to your monthly bill every month if you participate with us as well. And you don't have to reapply into these programs. None of your participation is affected simply by enrolling in Central Coast Community Energy. So you don't have to worry about this. In terms of the timeline, so you may be wondering how much time you have to make a decision, but you may also be wondering about how we have been sending notices out by mail. So per state law, we had sent a total of 4 notices by mail. The first 2 that arrived in November and December of last year, and the subsequent 2 that arrived in February and March of this year. Your transition occurs specifically on the date in which your company, PG&E or Edison, read your meter. And so that's different for every customer. Some folks may have already enrolled in in the first week of January, whereas others enrolled until the last week of January. So basically 60 days after that transition date marks when you can opt out at no additional cost to you. If you choose to opt out after that period, of course, you're more than welcome to do so. We hope that everybody feels like they have a choice in deciding if they would like to participate in Central Coast Community Energy. But if you choose to opt out after that window, there is an administrative fee of $5 for residential customers and $25 for commercial customers. So in terms of accomplishments, I don't want to go ahead and read bullet by bullet, but I just want to highlight that we are focused on reinvesting back into the community. That's one of the main value propositions that we offer to all of our customers. We're not only here to be fiscally responsible, not only here to help support affordable competitive rates, but we're also here to support energy programs. For you as a customer, if you have any clean energy goals, for example, if you want to upgrade your service panel, your electric panel, you want to install an electric charger, obtain an electric vehicle, an electric bike, among other programs. I'm just providing some examples just for reference. We offer incentives like that for our customers. Our incentives are very much focused on helping our customers make that switch to a clean energy future. As most of our, I would say one of the main tenets of our purpose is to focus on clean and renewable energy. So we don't only want to focus on determining where that energy is being sourced from, that energy that we add up onto the grid. We also want to focus on how we can help the individual customer make that move, make that switch to a clean energy future as well. And so, as I said, we do have, I think at a large scale, we focus a lot on sourcing clean and renewable energy, determining that we want our energy sources for our customers to come from sources such as solar, wind, geothermal, small hydroelectric power, and battery storage. These are all really important components that helps ensure that we have a reliable energy supply on a 24/7 basis. And we're doing this while still supporting affordable rates. We have, I think our ultimate goal, right, as it shows here on the screen, is that we want to supply 100% of our energy sources of our energy from clean and renewable energy sources. And what's really exciting about this goal is that it comes 15 years ahead of California's goal, which puts us as one of the leaders in the state in advancing clean and renewable energy and helping us reach our goals sooner than later. Everybody participates in our agency through 3C choice. This is the default offering. You don't have to do anything to already be in this option. It's really simply a demonstration of how much energy, renewable energy you're paying for currently through Central Coast Community Energy. And we have another option. We actually call it 3C Prime, and this one's our 100% renewable option that comprises both solar and wind sources. And it does come at a premium of 0.8 cents more for every kilowatt hour than 3C choice. But it's completely optional. There's no penalties or fees for switching between the two. We just leave it as an option for folks that may have sustainable goals. They may be businesses that want to certify as green, and they want to use this as an option for meeting one of their requirements for certifying green. So we love to provide this service to our green businesses, but if you are also a residential customer, feel welcome to explore this. Give us a call and see how much more you would be paying per month. We can provide you a rough analysis through our call center. So in terms of energy programs, as I said, this is one of the main ways that we reinvest back into the community. Of course, there are other ways, but I think for the purposes of this presentation, I'll keep it focused on energy programs. So as you see here on the screen, this list actually reflects all of the incentives, all of the rebates that we have in store for our customers this year. Some of these are currently already available. Some of these have just actually closed. So for example, our grants program for our nonprofits and businesses and schools has actually just closed as of yesterday. But we also have ongoing programs such as Electrify Garage, the charging incentive program, the school bus electrification program, our ag electrification program. And then pretty soon we're going to be launching the residential electrification program as well. Just focusing on one of our currently available programs for our residential customers, we have a program known as Electrify Garage, and we see this really as a one-stop shop for all of our customers to apply for one of 4 incentives. As you see here, you can apply for an electric vehicle, funds for an electric vehicle, to be more exact. You could also apply for funds to obtain an electric bike. You could also apply for funds to apply for an electric charger, the one that would be charging your vehicle at your business or at your home. And of course, you could apply for the installation cost for the wiring, the replacement or the upgrade of the electric panel that's tied to your home or business. You may need to do those changes in order to accommodate a charger for your electric vehicle. So we have a lot of good information on our website. If you type up Electrify Ride, you'll be able to find our webpage where we include a lot of helpful resources on these programs. And you could also find the applications to the program as well once you're ready to apply. The last thing I'll say about this program is that it is ongoing. We do have plenty of funds available. And once you've enrolled into this agency, I suspect that many of you are already enrolled since the enrollment occurred in January. You are effectively eligible for this program, so you don't have to wait. There's no waiting period to apply. You are already eligible. If you have already purchased an electric vehicle, an electric bike, as of this week, for example, you can apply to get your rebate pretty soon. Now, I just want to quickly switch gears, addressing any of our customers that may have solar or wind tied to their property. You are considered a net energy metering customer. And your enrollment also took place in January of 2022. We did follow a similar notification schedule, sent 2 notices prior and 2 notices after your enrollment. And so focusing specifically on the generation charges of your bill, we do have a unique billing structure, again, for the generation component. We are actually starting you off on monthly billing. You also were trued up at the point of your enrollment, which took place in January. So for all of your Central Coast Community Energy charges, you are effectively starting the cycle of your true up in January, and you would receive your eventual true up on the anniversary of your enrollment with us. And so you will be on monthly billing. What that means is that if you overproduced on any given month, you will get a credit that rolls over to the next month, and you can apply it towards any charges there, or you can accumulate it with any credits that you obtained in that following month. Alternatively, if you consumed more than you generated, you would have a monthly charge that you would have to pay that would be due on your next bill. Many customers ask us if this is effectively a monthly true-up process, and the answer is no. You still qualify for, we still true up all of our customers at the end of the year, and you're still eligible for net surplus compensation, which we actually set at a higher rate than the utilities. Right now, it's set at about 4.7 cents for our net energy metering customers. And so why did we go ahead and proceed with monthly billing for our solar customers? Well, effectively, we got a lot of feedback from our customers, and taking that feedback in mind, we developed monthly billing with these 3 goals to tackle some of the issues that they were addressing. First of all, we wanted to end large year-end true-ups. A lot of customers did not see our charges appear until the true-up, simply because they weren't visible. Month to month, net energy metering customers were not able to see our charges appear, and they only became more visible around the true-up, around the last bill they received for the year. And so this effectively created a lot of confusion. A lot of customers had calculated what they perceived to be a favorable true-up without taking into account the charges that were coming from Central Coast Community Energy. And so we wanted to rectify that and make sure that there was more visibility. It also addresses the second goal, right? It goes hand in hand with the first goal. We wanted to improve visibility of our charges, and so through monthly billing, you can actually see our charges appear month to month, or alternatively, you can see our credits appear month to month. Lastly, it also allows us more flexibility with how you can use your net energy metering credits through Central Coast Community Energy. Again, PG&E and Edison still manage the billing, but now through this monthly billing structure that we have on our end, you can apply any of your surplus credits at the end of the year to your charges that come from PG&E or Edison. So this was a complaint that we received from a lot of customers, and we found that monthly billing actually allows you to apply those excess credits towards charges that also come from your delivery provider. So as we're wrapping up this presentation, I just want to go ahead and promote that all of these resources are available on our YouTube page. So if there's something that wasn't clear to you tonight, or perhaps you'd like more of an in-depth presentation on solar customers or for solar customers, we do have all of our recordings available on our YouTube page. What I'm going to do after this presentation is actually send an email follow-up to all of our registrants on Zoom, and provide you all of the resources that we discussed tonight so that you can have them for reference. And you can look up all of these resources at your own time if you choose. So that concludes our presentation. We really appreciate your attention. We hope it was straight to the point, but also answered some of the questions that you may have had lingering. If you have any additional questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. You can give us a call. As you see, we have one general number on our screen. You could also reach out to the, you could also write an email to the corresponding representative in your area. So if you receive your delivery service from PG&E, if they're the ones that send you the bill, then you would reach out to northsupport@3ce.org. And if you receive your billing and your delivery service from Southern California Edison, then you would reach out to southsupport@3ce.org. There's plenty of other ways to stay connected with us. We have social media. We're very active on our Facebook and Instagram. We also have a newsletter. So every month we release a newsletter around the 20th, at some point, in some cases after the 20th. And we provide all the latest resources and updates that come from Central Coast Community Energy. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and conclude my portion of the presentation, and we can open it up to any questions from the audience. So I'm going to go ahead and defer to you, Patty, to see if we have any questions from the audience.
Thank you, Ozzy. We do not have any questions at this moment. If you're online, you could connect in our Q&A box that is on below in the Zoom features, and you could enter your question there as well as the chat box. But at the moment, we have no questions.
Okay, good. Yeah, we can always share this recording of the webinar for all of our attendees. And of course, if you have any follow-up questions, as I said, feel free to give us a call. So I'm going to go ahead and give us a couple more seconds for anybody who is still thinking of a question, perhaps, and then we can go ahead and conclude tonight's webinar.
And we still have no questions, but again, like Ozzy mentioned, you could go ahead and watch this webinar in our YouTube channel, and you could reach out to us via email, phone number, or our social media channels.
Thank you, Patty. Let's go ahead and wrap up tonight's webinar. For everybody who attended or who watched this webinar online, we really appreciate your participation with us tonight. Again, we will be following up with all of these resources in an email shortly after. So with that said, everybody, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, and we will be in contact pretty soon. Thank you.